let's talk about what's the next film going to be about. Now, both 28 years later and the sequel subtitled The Bone Temple were shot at the same time, and The Bone Temple will be directed by Nia DaCosta and is scheduled to release January 16th of 2026. Now, depending on what website you're looking at, it can be IMDb, Letterboxd, or even Wikipedia, the cast has a mixture of return of Jimmy, Spike, Jamie, Dr. Kelson, and members of Jimmy's cult, and we get the return of Cillian Murphy's Jim. Now, I would imagine that the film will focus on catching us up to what happened with Jimmy and what he's been doing for the last 28 years since we last saw him as a kid. And I would also imagine that it's going to explore how he started his own cult and abandoned his father's beliefs in God and religion. I would also imagine it will focus on Jamie searching for Spike and us learning more about the different mutations of the infected and encountering more alphas, including the vengeful Samson. Now, honestly, I'm a bit skeptical about Nia DaCosta taking the helm based on her previous films, which was The Marvels and Candyman, which I didn't hate, but I found it disappointing, but I also don't blame her entirely on the colossal failure, which was The Marvels. Now, I did enjoy her directorial debut in Little Woods, which came out in 2018, and I know she's extremely talented, and I would imagine that Alice Garland and Danny Boyle wouldn't just pick a name out of a hat to direct the next film, so there has to be something that she pitched, there has to be something that she offered to the story, because again, I find her to be talented, and I'm hopeful she'll make her best film to date. And if the final 5 minutes of 28 years later is any indication of what's next, we are in for one crazy, bizarre ride.